Howdy, welcome to another video. So what I've been up to, we finished cleaning up some fence lines. And making Eric's ditch bank all nice and neat. Did a bunch of corn trucking, emptied out a bin, and now we moved out over to a grain site that we rented some storage space with. Hopefully empty that out in the next week or so. And I'm just here this morning working on the corn planter. I got some new studs for the disc openers, and I keep pumping up this tire and it keeps going flat. There's a bunch of cracks in the sidewall and the tires don't look so good anymore. So I'm gonna take off the 4 main frames and put better radial tires on. The planter's 20 years old, so the tires look original, and yeah, they just crack out and then they don't hold air, and that's something I don't want to mess around with in the springtime. So we'll get those changed out. We'll take them off 2 at a time, I'm guessing. If I take off that cylinder stopper, I can suck this end up, and then yeah, be able to take this tire off no problem. So I'm gonna replace 4 of these studs. Yeah, you could probably put a joke in there, but I'm not gonna be the one to do that. So the disc on the planter turns this way, so the stud is going to tighten by turning this way, and the nut that's attached to the stud is going to tighten by turning this way. So that way, it's always tightening itself. So then what you do is you put your disc opener blades on, and then so far it's been 5 on each side, sometimes 6. So these are little machine washer spacers, and then you put your disc opener blade on. And your nut, you make sure it's the right way. This disc is turning forwards. This nut should turn the same way to tighten. And then you grab your chrome socket, because an impact one won't fit in there. And turn it tight. And I read this on the internet, 90 foot-pounds. Do that. And then what you do is you grab 2 business cards, slide them in the slot in the front, slide it in the slot, like that, and it should be between 2 inches and 1 3/4 inches. So we're right on 2 inches there. So that's perfect. See that? So if it's more than 2 inches, that means that the blades are compressing together too much, and then you'll have premature wear on a brand new disc opener. So you don't want to do that. So after it's torqued, then you grab these dust caps, keep the bearings nice, to keep the bearing hubs nice, sorry. Just like that, you're all good. So before I put the last one on, I'll show you guys what the old ones looked like. So there's about 1/2 inch all the way around the outside, so that's a total of 1 inch wear. So the old openers are John Deere openers, and the new ones are nickel openers. The reason I like nickel is everything from them seems to last longer. The opener is pretty well the same price, but the bearing hubs are bigger and better. I've had an issue in the past with the disc openers are perfectly fine, but the hub bearings go to crap, and while it sucks changing them in season. But yeah, I'm just a big fan of the nickel brand. The blades seem to be straighter too. When you do that card trick with a John Deere one, you're supposed to turn the blade to the opposite side of what you measured to make sure that the blade isn't warped. And John Deere has a bit of an issue, I think, when it comes to blade straightness. It's pretty well known. So what I did there was I mounted some new lights. There was a light there already, and then there was a light here. Kept that one, just got some cheap $50 LED lights, and yeah, there was a light mounted right there. And what I did was I cut the harness and I teed into it, so I got a light mounted here, so when the planters fold it out, I can see all 12 rows, or 6. And then same with this side. So yeah, just made that wiring harness all neat. We'll go try it right now. And we got light. So yeah, these are just cheap $50 lights, and they're 2800 lumen, 2850. So yeah, as you can see, it kind of shoots over top of the liquid pump on this side, and you should be able to see all 6 rows out that way, and then same with this side. So the reason I mounted them, oh, that's bright. The reason I mounted them is the tractor lights illuminate the front of the planter when it's folded out at night, but not the back. And if you have a hopper plugged, or if you have something going on at the back of the planter, you usually whip out your phone, and then you gotta hold it or stand it up somewhere. So this way it should illuminate most of what's going on back here. So that wasn't too bad of a project. Maybe took half an hour or something like that. I like to do it nice and neat. It's maybe not 100% the right way. I strip the wires back, turn them into each other, and then heat shrink tube it, and then heat shrink tube the whole connection over the 2 connectors, if you know what I mean. I don't mind using the butt connectors, but sometimes they pull apart, whereas if you twist the wires from both ends together and then heat shrink tube it, I find it works way better. It's worked for me, so that's all that matters. Yeah, just waiting for the tires to get done. Got to wait a couple days for the other ones to come in. So just fired up the tractor here. I turned the key. This is a John Deere 2600. Yes, it's old, and yes, it still does a perfectly fine job. We're running a Starfire 6000 receiver. So this is the Generation 2 or Gen 2 2020 precision planting monitor. So it's a John Deere planter, but all of the electrical components, the variable rate, everything is from precision planting. So the downforce and section control is all based off of this. The section control is robbing the GPS positioning system off the Green Star. So there's a harness. Yes, I still want to zip tie that to the roof there. There's a harness that tees into the Starfire receiver and whatnot. Yeah, then this is the control box for the planter, for the markers, folding in and out, road transport and whatnot. And yeah, just nicely did all the wires in the cab here. All the mapping from here will go onto the iPad into field view. So then in the future you can see if anything went wrong. But yeah, I like stuff nice and neat in the cab. Yeah, just spend a few minutes zip tying stuff up. It's just a lot nicer when everything's nice and organized and zip tied together. So what I'm doing now is changing the meters from soybeans to corn. And I'll show you guys that right now. So this is a precision meter. It fits onto the John Deere. Yeah, I'll show you how to change corn to soybean or soybeans to corn. There's a clip inside here, kind of spring loaded, and you're able to pop this meter out. So there's a retaining clip here. This one's for soybeans. So what you do is pop it out of place. And then what I do is just take an air gun. Like that. And then you pop the new one in. Make sure it's clipped in nicely, free. You set this part down, and then you grab the actual electronic part of the meter, you pull this clip out. So this is a soybean plate. So this is a soybean plate, and this is a corn plate. See the big difference between the two? Soybeans have more holes than corn. Corn, you plant at a lower population compared to soybeans, so you need less holes in the disc. So now that I got the soybean plate out, just gonna give it a blow. Take this kicker out, I guess is what you would maybe call it. So this kicker's got two sets of wheels for two sets of round holes around the disc. The corn only has one, and then you use the kicker wheel that only has one as well. So a little bit about how this meter works. So right here, the seed gets delivered to. It's from the CCS tanks, the middle hopper tanks. And then once it fills up this hopper, then this meter has a vacuum hose that's attached to the backside. And what happens is the seed comes in contact with the holes, and because there's vacuum pressure on the backside, the seed gets stuck to here and then goes around. And then there's that kicker wheel that I installed that will drop the seed down the seed tube. And then the speed tube, which is this fancy dancy thing. The seed goes in here, and then the speed tube grabs the seed and then carries it all the way down on these little elevators right to the seed trench. So that's why you can drive really fast. The seed isn't skipping back and forth down the seed tube. It's essentially sitting on this belt all the way down. So this is what you call a speed tube. So you can drive fast. And they just sit in here like so. And plugs in like so. So then what you do is you go like so. And then you make sure those clips are back. And you fit it in like so. And then there's pins that line up. And then this retaining clip snaps back into place. So. And now we're ready to reassemble it. So this is row 12. What you do is go like that. It sits in there like so. And then the meter drops down onto the speed tube and compresses it down. And what you do is put this locking clip back together. And then this is the seed delivery tube. And then this is the vacuum tube. So now that we got one done, I got 3 left. It doesn't take too long. I think one row takes maybe 2 minutes. It's actually pretty quick. This is real time. Alrighty, so that's all 12 rows changed over to corn. Yeah, these are the seed discs, and then these are all the bean plates and the bean kickers. I have no idea what the term is for those things, but that's what I'm gonna call them. Just went and picked up the tires. They had the 2 in stock, and we're getting 4 more for Monday. Today is Thursday, but it's a Easter long weekend. So these are Alliance tires. They're an IF, so you can run them with a little lower PSI, less compaction. These are the same ones we have on our cultivator. There's no way that those crappy Goodyear tires, if you fill up the CCS tanks with seed and have some liquid fertilizer on, is rated for the weight of those tires. And yes, maybe farmers shouldn't road with seed and fertilizer, but we all do. No one completely empties out. As you can see, the tires are under a lot of stress with this weight and everything's empty. Yes, there should be 4, but still, if you put a bit of seed and fertilizer in, they're going to be squatting pretty good. So the other advantage to these tires is the footprint is much larger, less compaction. Anyways, that's going to be the end of this video. Yeah, just a bunch of stuff getting ready on the planter. But yeah, it's getting wrapped up. The only thing that's left to do is install the tires and then put the gauge wheel arms on from the sides that have the tires. And then the only thing left is cleaning out the fertilizer system, because I took this apart. A lot of gunk. So pressure washer, hot water pressure washer, and maybe some Dawn dish soap. Clean out the whole system. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys have a great Easter, and I have no idea when I'm going to edit this video, but thanks for watching.